Hey, welcome back to Sweet Bay Lane. Or if you're new, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Tracy, and the Halloween project in this video is quite possibly one of the cutest you'll find on YouTube. I know, it's a bold statement, I get it, but if you stick around, I'm sure you'll see why I say this. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Okay, the first step in this project that I want to achieve is I want to cover this wire wreath form that I got at the Dollar Tree with this orange deco mesh that I also purchased at the Dollar Tree. And I start that process by wiring the end of the deco mesh with an orange pipe cleaner, and then I just continue wrapping the wreath until it's completely covered, and when I come to the end, I just secure the end with one of those orange pipe cleaners. In this step, I'm going to be gluing these two wooden plaques together and adding the dowels to the top of them. I start by measuring where I want the dowels to be on top of the plaques. I then take my cordless drill and a 3/4 inch spade drill bit and I drill holes in the top. Once the holes are drilled, I glue the plaques together in the center, as you'll see, and then I add a little touch of the wood glue to the holes and I insert the dowels. Okay, that's perfect. Now I'm moving on to this cute little pumpkin jack-o'-lantern wood cutout that I got from the Dollar Tree. This step is so much fun. I start by painting the base of the jack-o'-lantern a pumpkin orange. Then I move on once that's dry and I paint its little eyes, nose, and mouth a black. Now that the black face is dried completely, I come in with a little bit of white and I just add a little bit of character to her face. I give her some fun, cute little eyes and I just add like a little stitch pattern around her mouth, nose, and eyes. Now that her cute little face is done, I want to kind of give her an aged kind of spooky antique look. And I achieve that by taking some of the black paint and a dry chip brush and I just dry brush the edges. Okay, that is perfect. Now that my jack-o'-lantern face is painted, I move on to another step in this project, and that is going to be painting this little wooden plaque that I got from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to paint it a black base with a white overcoat, then I'm going to come in with a little bit of sandpaper and distress the edges. Now that my plaque's been distressed, I want to embellish it with this gorgeous design that I purchased from my Silhouette store. It says Happy Halloween and I printed it out in a black vinyl. I think the Happy Halloween plaque turned out adorable. Now we're going to be moving back to the 2 wooden plaques that we glued together with the dowels inserted, and we're going to paint that a black. Now that the black is dried, I come in with a chip brush and a little bit of white paint, and I just dry brush completely around the base. I love how that white dry brush really makes that black base pop. For this next step, I'm going to be cutting this orange and black polka dot fabric into 4 long strips. Then I'm going to glue the strips right side out along the edge. Now that my fabric pieces have been glued, we move on to the fun part of this project, and that's the assembly. And I start by bringing the base of the project, you know, the 2 little wood plaques that we glued together with the dowel rods, and I just insert the dowel rods into 2 of those sleeves of fabric. Moving on to the next step in this project, I bring back in the deco mesh covered wreath along with my jack-o'-lantern face. I want to attach my jack-o'-lantern face to the wreath base. To achieve this, I'll be using some orange felt and some orange pipe cleaners. I start by cutting my felt strips, and measure where I'd like the jack-o'-lantern face to sit on my wreath base. Once that's been established, I take my pencil and I just make little marks on the back of my jack-o'-lantern face. Now that I have my markings as guides, I find the center of my pipe cleaners, I add a felt strip and a little touch of hot glue, and I attach it to the back of my jack-o'-lantern. Once I have all 3 of my pipe cleaners attached to the back, I then attach it to the wreath base. Now that I have my jack-o'-lantern face attached, I want to bring back in that wooden base with the fabric on the dowels, and I want to attach that to my wreath as well. And to achieve this in a very secure fashion, I'm going to be using zip ties. For the top part of the dowel, I was able to use one zip tie. Now I also want to secure it in another spot down towards the base of the wreath, and for that I'm going to be using 2 zip ties together. Now that everything's secure, I just come in and fluff up my deco mesh, and it hides almost everything. Okay, that looks perfect. Now we're moving on to creating some arms, and to achieve that we're going to be using those 2 leftover pieces of fabric, some jute covered wire, and some black felt. I start by measuring out the jute covered wire. I then twist the wire, and you'll see I leave a loop at the end, and then at the very end, when I'm done twisting it, I then twist it in a little bit of a spiral at the end. Now that that's done, I bring in the black felt and I cut out little mitten shapes. I start that by folding the fabric of the felt in half, and then I cut out a rough kind of estimate of my mitten. Then I come in once it's cut out and I just clean it up, making it a perfect mitten shape. Now that I have all 4 of my mitten shapes cut out, I add a little touch of hot glue, and then as you'll see, I take that little spiral end of the jute covered wire and I add that to the center of the mitten. Then I add some hot glue to the other mitten, and I just press that on top of the mitten and the little piece of wire. And as you'll see, it makes perfect little mitten hands. Then I just slide the wire into the pieces of fabric. I then add zip ties around the wrist, making like a little sort of a decorative cuff right above my little mitten hand. Once my arms have been attached, I just come in and cut off the excess part of the zip tie. Now that my arms are attached, I flip my project over and I add the Happy Halloween sign that we made earlier. To attach the sign, once I figure out where I want it, I just use a little bit of hot glue on each end. While I'm waiting for the hot glue to dry on my sign, I come in with a little bit of this grosgrain ribbon and I make little bows around the wrists of my arms, and then I glue the little mitten hands to the base of my sign, as you'll see here. And now that the hot glue is dried on the little sign and the little mitten hands, I stand the project up and I add little bows to the base. It sort of makes it look like puffy pants in a way. How cute are those little polka dot pants? Now the final step in this project, I'm going to add a little bit of that grosgrain ribbon to the top just to hide those little holes from the hanger in the jack-o'-lantern face, and I'm going to add a final touch of a little bow, making her a little girl jack-o'-lantern that my husband nicknamed Holly. Can you guess why? Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this inspires you to make a holly for your front porch this year. So, what do you think? Am I one of the cutest projects on YouTube? If you think so, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We'd love to have you here at Sweet Bay Lane. And if you could do me a huge favor and go ahead and leave your favorite candy for Halloween in the comment section below. Mine is candy corn. Until next time, peace out from Holly.